Hey guys, it's hashtag Ask Lauren. All right, so today I'm going to tackle a topic that I kind of have touched on a couple of times, mainly in a video called Rules to Live By. I posted it pretty much when I started this YouTube channel last summer, and in it I talk about like my dark secret. I talked about the fact that I get really angry, that I have a temper, that John calls me the Hulk sometimes, and that I'm working on that. A lot of people responded to that quite positively. Like, I always thought I was the only person who was crazy like that sometimes, even though I know that I'm not. But a lot of people have asked me, well, how do you deal with your anger, and how are you working on that aspect of yourself? And I haven't really talked about it until today. So mainly, I have a couple questions regarding this, but I have this one here that reminded me from Sonia H. I'd like to know how you dealt with your anger, because I'm pretty feisty as well. I have that fire inside myself that gets really angry for really stupid reasons, and it's hard to calm down in those moments. It's like a snowball, and then I get really angry, and it just gets worse until I can escape to be alone and calm down. So how did you start to accept and work with your anger? Well, this is a big thing. I did not plan what I was going to say, so I'm just going to ramble here. My anger didn't just come out of nowhere. Anyway, my parents fought a lot growing up, so I was always around fighting as a way to deal with whatever you're feeling. I would say at present day, I try not to dwell on like the past or like Lauren as a child, even though a lot of like therapists and whatever will say that that's like where you should go. Like the fact of the matter is it's in the past. That's what happened. I have to break the pattern. Now, I haven't broken the pattern. I've continued the pattern in my relationships, and I've continued the pattern as a person. In that old video, I mentioned that like it's really easy and quite common for me to get mad at my partner because they're right there and they love me unconditionally. So in my subconscious, I think that I can just take advantage of that. I know that I can't, but I'm just saying like the deep-rooted issue within me, I guess, views it that way. I literally think about this all of the time, and I don't want to. I don't want to dwell on it, because with all of the other self-work that I do, it's about being present, and every moment is just a reminder of things. Like every moment you have the control, you do have the self-control to react responsibly. To react with the bigger picture in mind, to react from a place of love as opposed to a place of sadness and anger. But when you're all wrapped up in a moment, you just react. Now, I'm very reactive. I'm not someone who thinks really hard about what I think and feel, and then I say it. I either say nothing or I just freak out. I don't know, this has like literally been a lifelong issue. Have certainly made some progress, I think. It's not something that affects like my day-to-day life, like every day, but it does become harder in a relationship because that's when this gets all brought up. Like if I was single, I probably wouldn't get as mad as I do. Although I know when I'm single, the anger is there, the anger comes out, and I've never like gotten mad at somebody I wasn't supposed to, like at work or whatever. Like I've never like lost it in public. You know, I've gotten pretty feisty at like customer service people sometimes because they piss me off. So it comes out in that way sometimes. We've all done this stuff. But I do have a hard time like keeping it contained. So meaning once I'm pissed off, well, then I get what you're saying, Sonia, that it is a snowball and you are just out of whack. That happens to me. This is hard for me to answer because I feel like this is the one thing, like you guys always look at me like I know everything, or like I'm getting upset because basically I can't answer the question because I'm working on it. And it's obviously a very upsetting thing because I wouldn't be crying if I was fine with it. So it's okay to get upset, and the people who love you in your life will forgive you. And if you have somebody good in your life, they'll know how to deal with it. I would say that's the situation at the moment anyways with John and I, is that John knows all of this. We talk about this. He's dealing with it. I wouldn't say he's okay with it, but he can handle it because he doesn't take things personally. And in my mind, in the bigger picture, I go, well, that's not good, because he's being hurt, like I'm hurting him, but he's just dealing with it, and maybe he's just sweeping it under the rug. Like maybe he's not. Maybe it's affecting him in some way, and this is all playing out presently, like in our relationship. I'm not crying because anything's wrong with our relationship. I'm crying because this is something I've dealt with my whole life. It takes me back to like being a teenager, being so upset all the time. And that wasn't like a fun phase to be in. So it's like trying to grow up is like trying to let go of that, right? And I think part of it too is just like accepting that this part of this is who you are, and it's like okay. Like I think that I viewed it in such a negative for so long that I'm almost fighting with myself, where I actually just need to come into a place of full self-acceptance, which is funny because I talked about acceptance and confidence like a few weeks ago. And I have all of this self-acceptance and confidence in so many areas of my life, except when it comes to whatever this is. I don't know if this is like in my emotions, in like truly loving myself or whatever, because in order to fully accept myself, I need to accept the fact that like, okay, I get angry. So now what? You know, I can't run away from it. And I think every time I do get angry, I'm almost fighting like, it's like an internal like good versus evil, like angel versus devil thing going on inside of me, when really I just need to not even look at it as like two different things. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Me getting angry isn't bad, isn't negative, isn't whatever. It's not nice, but it's not. I think when we start labeling things and then we try to resist who we are, we try to resist those things, that's when that like tension comes up and almost makes it worse. So okay, anyways, getting back to like how I deal with it, I don't know, like there's been a couple times where I get mad and it doesn't last very long. Meaning that's really good progress because I've cut my sort of reaction time down sometimes, and I don't even know how I do that. But really the best thing is, as much as I'm mad, so I need to like go away. I think when you're that heated, you shouldn't say stuff. And I tend, my automatic reaction or habit is to say a lot. And I think it's the truth, even though it's not. So really it's like step away from the situation. Like the fire is going hot and rearing really high, and you just need to walk away in order for it to like not be fueled anymore with oxygen by talking. So get out of the room, and you really can't talk about it until you're back to a centered place. Like whatever the issue is, you really can't talk about it with the person, relationship, parent, anybody, until you've like really calmed down and you're not mad anymore. Because when you are mad or you're holding some kind of resentment, like harboring some kind of resentment, whenever you talk about it, you're just gonna like lash out, right? And try to hurt the other person. So you really just need to step away. And like what happens when I'm angry and I step away is the thoughts are still spiraling out of control, but I think what happens in just like breathing or stopping and breathing, or maybe it is like crying and yelling in your pillow or in your room by yourself or something like that, until you get the anger out, and then it becomes just more like exhaustion and you have no more energy, and then you're quiet and you can just realize that you're being irrational. So anyway, I guess the point of this video now is that it's a current issue. It's something I deal with. I came to a conclusion in the last few months that I think at the end of the day, I think I need to actually go see a therapist about it, because I've run out of solutions. Like, I've run out of ideas. I've run out of what I need to do. I'm pretty much at the end of the rope here. Like, I've done, what's it called? A life reboot program, like life coaching. I've done Reiki. I've done a bunch of like spiritual therapists. I've done 3 meditation retreats. I meditate pretty consistently. I do yoga. I am vegan, you know, and I still have this like gloomy shadow over my head. That's probably from childhood. That's probably from, I have no idea. But this is like a big thing that I need to tackle. And I am basically at a loss of what to do. Like, I'm sick of reading the books. I'm sick of trying the mirror work. I'm sick of doing all these things. I don't know. I think I just need to go to a therapist and like talk about it, and maybe they'll give me some new tools. I guess it's just like I've gathered all of these different tools, and it's not that they haven't helped. They have helped incrementally. And I don't even know if it's just like I said before, I don't even know if it's just a matter of accepting it and living with it instead of beating myself up about this thing. But there has to be like a better way to operate in my relationship. There has to be a better way to not get so angry. And so whatever, this is like my life's work. Like, this is the thing that I have to figure out so that I don't die with it and have to reincarnate and deal with it again. That's honestly what I think. Like, this is the thing I have to conquer. You know, I'm successful. I have a great life. I have great people in my life. Everything, like, I've managed to like conquer so many things except this thing. So I know that it's like it is my life's work. I might not figure it out. I hope I get better. I hope I do figure out. I think I can, but I think at this point I do have to enlist some help from somebody else, somebody who doesn't know me, somebody who has some kind of psychological expertise and experience dealing with whatever, anger and emotional issues. That's my confession, as Usher says. But anyway, I hope that, I didn't even know what I was going to talk about, but hopefully that makes some of you feel better, to know that like, it actually makes me feel better to know that like when I talked about this on YouTube, so many people replied being like, I'm the same way with my husband, I'm the same way with my boyfriend, I'm the same way with my parents. I'm not saying anger, this issue alone, is like a female problem, but I do think there are a lot of women going through the exact same thing. I don't know for what reason, because we've been stifled as women growing up and we haven't been able to express ourselves, so we've harbored all this anger and now it's coming out in other ways. I don't really know. I think about this all the time, but you know, or there's just angry people out there, and so by talking about it, the angry people have said, hey, I'm angry too, what do we do? And I think everybody deals with this to some degree. I think some people maybe have more self-management than others about it, and you know, it's not affecting like the great parts of my life. It just comes up and I'm mad, and then I feel guilty because I treat John not good, and I feel guilty because it seems so out of character. It seems so crazy, you know? Whatever, I say crazy, I don't mean in an insensitive way. People have mental health issues, and this is perhaps a mild mental health issue, I'm not sure. But I don't think we need to categorize it as anything other than just life has shit in it sometimes, and you got to deal with it, and this happens to be my big pile of shit that I have to deal with. So I'm just gonna leave it there. Anyway, I hope that you found it somewhat helpful for me to talk about this. Now you know. So thanks for asking such great questions, and for leaving comments, and for giving me your personal feedback and sharing your personal stories as well, because I think the more we share, the more we know, the more we better ourselves, the more we learn, and that's like really what I want this place to be about. More than anything else, whether it's learning about anything, vegan or self-work or any of those things. So thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate it. And more to come. I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on my YouTube channel, and follow me on all of the socials and things. Also, Hot for Food on Snapchat. not Lauren Toyota. I don't use that account. So make sure if you want to see me snapping things I'm eating and all that stuff, it's Hot for Food. Look us up. Okay, bye guys. Love you.